Hey fam, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another reaction. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. Y'all, we're back with another reaction. Okay, last video was okay. It wasn't my best, right? It wasn't my best work, but you know, I think over here, I think my lane, I think it's going to be the politic game, y'all. I enjoy it. I have fun watching the videos. I like putting my input in. Today we got Dave Smith on the Tucker Carlson podcast. This is the whole podcast. I just went down the description and found the entertaining part, which was a clip in my last my big channel TikTok videos. Over there on the TikTok channel, we're just going to keep TikToks, not get into politics too much. We're going to stay away from that. We're still going to get into it a little bit, but not too much. But over here, we're going to get into the politics, y'all, and some other things too. But yeah, today's video should be good. Hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, y'all. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe, sit back, and enjoy the reaction.
President, who is the president of the United States?
Well, we don't have one. And this
How
is
strange is that?
well, this is what's crazy to me though, right? Is like, so if you look at, first of all, the distinction, which I think should be, obvious more and more to people, is that the distinction politically that matters right now is not left versus right. It is that is just not true. It's one thing that, man, it drives me crazy amongst like Republican voters and even Republican leaders that they still want to see things in that distinction.
Yeah.
They still want to go the far left Nancy Pelosi or whatever. It's like, yeah, she's not really far left. She uses far left language, but these people, it's not, you know, calling Kamala Harris a communist or whatever. And I know people were sending this clip.
These are people who work for JP Morgan.
Yes, they're not communists. They're for big business. And they're like, yeah, but look at this clip. She's talking about equality of outcomes. Like, she doesn't even understand what that means.
Of course.
It's not really communist. They're using leftist language.
Of course.
They're liberal. They're neoliberals
Exactly.
who are for big business. So the distinction is not left or right. The distinction is like establishment versus dissident, or corrupt versus honest, or something like that.
That's right.
That's why Glenn Greenwald is not on the opposition team to us, and Mitch McConnell is our ally, right? It's not about that. But so one of the
That's
things,
for sure.
right. So one of the things that the establishment has, which is really something I've been marveling at lately, is they have unbelievable message discipline. Something that us, the dissidents, could never dream of having. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You know, you see some of like the compilations of the corporate media. It's just like, hey, JD Vance is weird. That's the line this week.
Tim Walz is avuncular.
Yes, everyone.
Not weird at all, though.
Well, look, my
totally not weird.
Well, my good friend Michael Malice, who you had on your Fox show, wrote the book on North Korea, and he's just really smart guy and hilarious and a great guy. But he pointed this out that you know, when a few years ago when Joe Rogan was taking ivermectin, his doctor prescribed him ivermectin.
Is that the fish tank cleaner or the horse tranquilizer? I can't remember which one.
All of them, horse dewormer.
Horse dewormer.
And there's a million different things that ivermectin does, yet they all picked horse dewormer and repeated that. And then, you know, you could look back, sharp as a tack. Joe Biden, sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack. Everyone said this in private meetings. He's sharp as a tack. People forget the shortest lived propaganda campaign ever, which was way back last month, was cheap fakes.
Yeah.
You remember for a week,
you
were told that there are these videos, they're kind of like deep fakes. What distinguishes them from deep fakes is that they're real videos. But but you see, Tucker, it's total. They're trying to make it look like Joe Biden is old and senile, but that's all just bullshit or whatever.
I remember that.
They stay on message. They very much stay on message. Whereas the MAGA movement has nothing like that. And part of that is because Donald Trump's at the top.
That's right.
Donald Trump doesn't stay on message. That's not how he works. He's a stream of conscious type thinker who goes on stage and doesn't even know what he's going to talk about. He figures it out while he's up there. There's something kind of endearing about that. And there's something.
But more fundamentally, one movement is about the individual.
Right.
And the other is about the collective.
Absolutely.
So the collective doesn't care about your opinion.
Well, it's amazing, right? Just that even of these people who work in places that you used to work and some places you didn't work, but like people at the New York Times or the Washington Post or CNN or NBC or CBS, that like all of them, at least in their own mind, still pretend to be journalists, and yet they're somehow able to just repeat the talking point exactly verbatim as everyone else does. So anyway, my point is we don't want to be that, because we don't want to be like, we don't want to all just be mindless drones.
Right.
However, it's amazing to me that Donald Trump, none of his surrogates, no one like on the pro-Trump side seems to be able to effectively hit Kamala Harris with what is the most obvious thing to hit her with. It's the greatest scandal in American history, which is like what you just said, that we don't have a president. The president of the United States, everybody has essentially admitted, is too senile to run for president. Yet he's going to be president until January. We are in a proxy war with the biggest nuclear power in the history of the world. And we have another proxy war-ish type thing that looks to be devolving into a wider regional war in Israel. And we don't have a president. This is like the biggest scandal in the history of the republic, if we're a republic anymore. And
think about that, y'all. Think about that. We don't have a president. How vulnerable right now is America? You hear us sending warships over to overseas. We're sending military men overseas, and we don't even have a president. Where is he? He's not senile enough to run in November, but he's senile enough to run from, what are we in, August to the rest, until the end, until January. He's okay for that, but he's not okay to run. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And Kamala didn't even get voted in. Imagine if that was Trump that didn't get voted in. They just placed him in. The Republican Party just placed him in without other people having to drop out of the race because they can't beat him. Imagine that. What they'd be calling him. Hitler, Kim Jong-un, dictator, right? They already use these words for him. It's crazy.
And Kamala Harris is directly implicated in this. Like, she was one of the major people lying through her teeth that Joe Biden is sharp as a tack in private meetings. And it seems like somehow the Trump campaign has not been able to effectively hit her for this. It's like right there in front of us. You pulling Joe Biden out was admitting that he's too senile to run for president.
Yes.
And yet you're not invoking the 25th Amendment. This is what it's for. He clearly can't be president. And then what does it say about the machine? That they're quite happy with that. That works very well for them.
I mean, there are two levels in which it's upsetting. One is the practical level, which is you probably do want a commander-in-chief if you're on the cusp of nuclear war, which we are. But the other is philosophical and speaks to whether our current system can continue. I mean, we're just admitting now that that we don't have an executive, that we don't need an executive. This is governed, that we are governed by an unelected body of people whose names we don't know.
Yeah.
Whose motives we don't understand. Like, what?
Right. And also, as
well, think about it, right? We all knew he wasn't running the country. People were telling him what to say. He was talking, going off script, and they were telling him, like, relax, relax. And he's all, relax. He'd read that on the teleprompter, like, don't say that. And he's like, oh, shit. Changes the subject, right? So, I mean, we've known this forever. He's not running the country. Now it just solidifies it that he's not. They kicked him out of the race for the next term. So whoever's been running the country is running it now, and nobody even bats an eye. Nobody cares. Nobody says anything. Like he was saying, like, why isn't the Trump campaign like hammering down on this? I guess it's the 25th Amendment that's what that's for. I don't know all the amendments, people. I'm learning, right? But that's what it's for. Get them out of there. Get somebody new in, Kamala, right? Let us see what she can do in these 3 or 4 months and go from there.
As we
that's
all,
sort of the end, right?
And as we all know, the only reason they pulled Joe Biden is because it became clear he couldn't win. But if he could have won, they'd be quite happy to keep him in there. Like, they like that. It's probably better that they don't have this guy who every now and then might think he's president of the United States.
But why
of
is there no curiosity about who they is?
Or imagine if Trump got, right? I ain't gonna say it, but imagine if he got. What would it be like right now? Would Kamala be out there with filled stadiums, preaching to the choir? Or would it be Joe Biden? Would they be propping him up? That's something to think about. Well, what the heck would have happened if all that went through what they wanted to go through?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
I mean, I can't answer that. I mean, I think most people assume Obama is at the top of that pyramid, but I can't confirm that. We don't know. I haven't heard really anybody in a position of authority ask, like, who does run the government?
Yeah. And I don't know that there's an easy, I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I don't know that there's
Kind
an
of
easy
wild,
answer.
right?
I don't think it's Obama. I mean, I think Obama has influence, you know, but I don't know how much Obama really ran the government when he was president of the United States. I don't, you know, I certainly know that he definitely at the very beginning got rolled by his generals. And I think that he, you know, I don't exactly know where he was on some of these issues, but at least with like what he ran on in terms of healthcare was not what Obamacare was at all. In fact, he, if you remember way back in ancient history in 2008, Hillary Clinton was the one who was for the individual mandate.
Of course.
And he criticized her. I actually thought it was a great line he had in the debate. He was like, the individual mandate solves the health insurance crisis in the same way that mandating you buy a house solves the homelessness problem, which was like a great line.
Yes.
Totally. And that's totally exactly right. How does that help anything to mandate you buy something that you've already deemed you can't afford to buy? Right. But then that's what Obamacare ultimately was. And why is it? Oh, this is good for the insurance companies. So it's like, it seems to me like he was always getting rolled by what are the powerful interests, which are essentially big business that owns the government, uses the government as a tool to increase their profits.
I'm going to pay you this money to get you in the office. You're going to do what I say, right? Same with the music industry, with the entertainment industry. You want to get in this entertainment industry? You got to go on this island, Mr. Epstein, right? You got to mess with these underage. You got to do these weird acts, and we'll always hold it against you if you get out of line. And those people that do get out of line, they're called crazy. Put them in mental hospitals. They kill them, right? Same thing, all the way to the top, presidency.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's really running things. Is it the director of national intelligence? Is it Biden's chief of staff? I don't know, but it's not Joe Biden. That's for sure.
And Kamala Harris seems like kind of flotsam on the waves of history herself. Like she's not, is she making independent judgments and choices that are, is she driving her own narrative? I don't think so.
I don't think she stands for anything. You know, I think she's just like, I don't think there's one issue ever where it's like, no, she believes in this passion and she's going to stand up and try her best to make sure this goes through. It's kind of like, you know, she was an aggressive prosecutor in California, but if she was a prosecutor right now in California, I'm sure she'd be one of these progressive prosecutors. It's just like, which way was the wind blowing? Is that the thing to get me more power?
Before we get into the details of what's actually happening right now, just to speed ahead a year, no matter who wins, does anybody believe that our system functions as advertised? I mean, do we know too much to sort of continue? It's a good question. And, you know, I think our system has worked this way for a very long time. What's really drastically changed is that people have really woken up to it. Yeah. It's a mix of several things. Obviously, like the internet is a huge part of that, and social media and stuff like that. And then also just the Trump phenomenon of the kind of the deep state.
It's the phones, y'all. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's the social media, right? Think about it. Back in the 90s up until 2010, 2008, right? I mean, when we had MySpace, we weren't looking at this stuff. So I'd say like in 2010, 2008 on, we got all our information from the news, right? From TV, from newspapers. There was really no internet. And when there was internet, they weren't really talking politics, really. At least I don't think, but what do I know? I was 18, 20 years old. I didn't care. I didn't start caring about politics. I'm 34 now, up until like 31, 30. Maybe I started like paying attention a little bit, right? But now I love it. It's fun. I enjoy it. So that's what we're going to start doing over here, y'all.
State coming out of the shadows to some degree, you know, and even I know I've heard you talk about this, the clip before, and I've played it a million times on my podcast, but where Chuck Schumer was on with Rachel Maddow, and he says the thing, which is an amazing moment, because if you look, she goes off script, and she asks, and she even says before she asks the question, she goes, "I don't mean to put you on the spot here, But President-elect Donald Trump, this is in January of 2016, he's won the election, but he's not president yet, because President-elect Donald Trump was just tweeting, whatever, it was talking shit to the CIA or whatever. And he just off the cuff in a real moment goes, I would not do that. It was like the most honest thing Chuck Schumer's ever said.
It was amazing.
Was 6 ways to Sunday to get back at you.
But I never really believed, I was an idiot, obviously. I didn't really believe any of that. I was hunting probably 10 years ago down in South Texas, right in the Rio Grande on somebody's ranch. And this guy comes out with a box about this big and an aerial, like a fiberglass line that went up.
All right, family, there's today's reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think this was better. It'll spark more conversation in the comments. Help us interact a little more, right? I enjoy this a lot more. So I think this is where we're going to stick. We're going to stick with the politics. Things go viral with celebrities, conspiracy things break. Cat Williams goes on an epic rant on the podcast. We'll react to that over here too. But for the main part, we're going to stick to this politic game because I enjoy it. I know a lot of you guys enjoy it, right? I get way more good comments than bad comments about politics. But I understand over there, we stick to the conspiracy type talks over there. So we're going to get into a little politics over there, right? Maybe put a clip in there that we're going to be doing on this channel. But anyways, y'all, link to my big channel is down below. We do TikTok compilations, conspiracy, creepy things over there. If you guys like that, go subscribe over there. If you like this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Y'all, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway. So I thank you guys for watching. This is Segovia. I'm going to be signing out of the man cave. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. No, on this channel, I'll see you guys on Friday. My big channel, daily uploads over there, y'all. So this is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm going to see you guys later. Peace.